All right. What's up, guys? It's your boy, Sam. We will be going live in a second, waiting for my guest artist, Pons, to set up and get ready. We're having some back-end difficulties that we're working through. But today we're going to have some fun. We're going to be drawing Doodie as a samurai. So we haven't prepped. We didn't share which versions of a samurai we're going to do. Lou is going to be drawing Doodie as a samurai. I will be drawing Doodie as a samurai, and we're going to see what comes out. So as we're working through the technical difficulties right now, just want to set the stage. This is going to be fun. So if you don't know who Lou Pons is, she's a fantastic illustrator. And I have the honor of drawing simultaneously. I've always wanted to see, I love seeing another creator's process. And this is going to be so much fun. At least I hope you agree with me that it will be fun. And, but while we wait, I do want to remind everybody that there's only 39 hours left to get your copy of There's Needle in My Toilet, book number 6 on Indiegogo. Book 6. And I would love for you to get a copy. Either for you or a friend as a gift, whatever it is. But while we get ready to start drawing simultaneously, I'm going to start the intro and we're going to go from there. So if you're out there, just give us a thumbs up, say hello. But this is going to be a fun-filled afternoon, a great way to end the new year and to get ready to start the next year.
Hi, I'm Vera. Wait, hold on, I'm Vera. Well, we're both Veras. Anyway, welcome to Drawing Doodie, where I take my favorite character, Uranus, from There's an Alien in My Toilet, and I put him in all sorts of costumes, from your most iconic characters to just a pirate or even Thundercats or a bandit. Well, every day I take Doodie and I have fun, and I'm glad that you're here to have fun with me. If you have time, please check out doodiesworld.com, and if you like this episode and every episode before it, please subscribe, like, and share. Thank you so much, and let's start drawing.
All right, hold on one second. Hey, how's it going?
It's good. I'm just going to try and set this up. I just need to know which camera you can see, because...
Yeah, I can see you there. Let me...
so you can see me?
Yes. And let me just remove the image. Boom.
I'm not quite sure how I've got this set up, so bear with me while I take a look.
So what I'm going to have to try to do is, if I can remove, why do I do this? Nope. Unless I do this. Let's see. Enter stage. All right, let's see. How can I do split screen? Oh, she disappeared. All right. I lost you for a second.
Oh, that was me. I'm in and out trying to set this thing up. Give me 1 second. I'm just going to turn it around so then I can actually see, so I can actually line it up for you guys.
Okay. I'm trying to... Let's see what I do here. Remove solo layout. All right, we'll put it on so I can see what you're doing. Okay. So I see it, but it's sideways.
Sideways, that's what I thought. Hold on.
So you have to just turn the camera. think you turned the camera upside down.
I did.
Yeah.
Oh, you can see my face. I just looked at it and I was like, yeah, that's wrong.
That's the hardest part, is setting up the boom or the arm to
Well, this is pretty new, so it's really stiff.
okay, let's see.
Hold on. Okay, this is going to be all over for a moment.
All right, you almost had it. Yeah. There you go. Oh, I'm loving that.
All right, how's that? Oh, wait up. Why are you doing that?
Yeah, that's good. Yep, that's a good spot.
Hold on, you get going, and I will. I will fix this.
All right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start drawing. You let me know once you're ready, and then I'll switch the screens back and forth.
Yeah, no worries. I'll let you know when it
Yeah.
looks good.
So for everybody who's watching in silence, today we're going to be drawing Doodie as a samurai, and as you can see by Pons inks already, she's already started the process. This is going to be fun. And again, if you haven't done so already, subscribe, like, hit that share button while we get this figured out. So let me get my pencils going. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to add shapes first while she's figuring that out. So that's one of the things that iPad has to do, is have that feature to be able to share your screen. For some reason, they don't have that feature. I want his. I thought that was my cat for a second.
Oh no, I've got enough animals to make noise in here for everyone.
Yeah. Yeah, so the whole theme is samurai. This is gonna be fun. What I want is, and again, I always do shapes first. This is here. This is here. Get rid of that. It's interesting. I'm thinking about Free Comic Book Day, that in May already. It's like I'm planning ahead, and it's like, all right, so I want to be able to do something fun at the bookstores to make it exciting for the people coming in for Free Comic Book Day. So I'm talking to which bookstore that I want to do the appearance in, and to create some sort of partnership where I have a poster on the wall a month ahead of time leading up to it, with some excitement for people who are coming to, and they get something out of it as well. It's like I'm always trying to think ahead.
Okay, Sam, can you hear me?
Let's see. Let's see.
Oh.
Oh, she disappeared. All right. So I want his fist here, his hand. Oh man, I hear my dogs. Hold on. Come on, let's go. Come on, inside. Come on, inside. Let's go, inside. Ready? Inside. All right, so let's see. Add to screen. All right, there you go.
All right, so you can see that.
I can see that. Yes.
I don't know why it's kind of portrait way, but I just turned the iPad to fit it in.
Yeah, it looks good.
All right. I'll leave it like that. It's kind of weird because I'm drawing this with a phone in my face, which is interesting.
Yeah, I know it. That's the hard part. I've been trying to figure out. You know how people they do the live streams on like Instagram with their phones, and I'm like, how do you get the camera where you're not blocking the camera with your head or your shoulder? I haven't figured that part out yet.
Right. I haven't figured it either. I'm new to this, so I'm looking at it thinking I've got a little bit more respect to the people who can actually do this.
Yeah. I'm always impressed by the streamers that get it right. I haven't figured that out yet. One day, I'm not there yet. You know, that's why I do this screen. But I'm surprised that Apple didn't have that feature on the iPad.
Yeah, I'll have to look into it more, see if there's something that can be done or get a different setup.
Yeah, because I have an iPad Pro too, and I just tried on my end, and it didn't give me that feature.
Yeah, I wasn't seeing it. I looked everywhere.
Yeah, so tell me about talk to me about the concept for this piece. Like, what was the inspiration for it?
Well, when you brought it up to say like maybe we should just kind of both do a Doodie drawing, I thought that's definitely a good idea on what we're gonna do. And I thought, well, you like to do the samurai stuff, and there was something coming up, I think, for 2024 where it gets more into the samurai story.
Right.
And I thought that would be cool to do. And then I thought, hold on a second. Though after I said it, I was like, wait, I've never even drawn a samurai. But then I thought, well, everything else I haven't really drawn either. So, and I just do that. So I thought it would be fun to just try that. And then it would be something that you could use maybe in your collection of prints of Doodie as a samurai for what you're doing. And I can have a go at drawing a samurai.
That's
yeah,
awesome.
I'll probably agree to some crazy things, but with this one, I just decided that I was just gonna try and go like more of a just classic, but keep it to what you were kind of going towards with Doodie already as the samurai. So I did have a good look through your stuff, which I really like, by the way.
Thank you.
So with this, I just got a little bit more of a head start because my planning process is kind of crazy. And it can go on for quite some time. So to just start doing that on the live, it might not really get very far. So I thought, well, if I just already have something started, then we can just take it from there. I like to work on the background first as well, which is kind of weird. But I like to do the background first so I know where the character's going to be.
That's awesome. Yeah, it's
so
funny.
What are you? Sorry, go ahead.
It's funny that you say that because I tend to do the opposite. I start with the character, and then I start building the background around the character. It's very unorthodox. I even do it with the comic book. Like I'll place the characters in the room. Like if I have like a something going on in the house where Herman's chasing Doodie or whatever it is, what I do is I create the structure with the lines. I just lay out like where the dimensions of the room, So it's just basically 4 squares. It's just a square to see where the dimensions in the room. And then I start measuring the height. I place the bodies, and then based on the bodies, I start building out like the sofa and the bookshelves and all that other stuff starts building around it. I don't know why or how I started that way, but it seems to have worked for me.
If I start to do something with the character first and then start to do a background, I usually end up getting a block when I get to the point of doing the background.
Yeah. It's
I feel like I missed something, and I just never feel comfortable with it. And usually if I do that, that's when the piece goes on longer than necessary. That's how I feel. I think I should have had this done already. And then I realized that the block was not having my plan. I hate doing stuff without a plan.
Yeah, it's funny. I've been like that my whole life. I tend to know what my outcome is, but I tend to work in the dark, like in the unknown. And then I think I get a kick out of figuring out as I go. It's the same thing even when in work. Like I know like this is where I want us to go, but the how part I build as I go. Like that's always been my method. I can't tell you why, but it seems to be my comfort zone, playing in the unknown and just figuring it out as I go.
Yeah, that's not for me anymore. I used to do that, but then I think that's just when I started to realize that wasn't working for me.
Right.
And sometimes I wish I could be a little bit more like that still, but I don't know. There's a lot of things happen over the years, and you go through a lot of changes, and it can be things that you don't even realize that are impacting your art.
Yeah. I was saying that I was having that conversation last night. We were at my wife's sister's home for her brother's birthday last night, and we were just talking about how, like, the guy that I was 15, 20 years ago is not the same person today from an inspirational standpoint. Like that same level of energy, that same level of grit and grind isn't there today, and it's because of all of the things as you get older that tend to take precedence in your life. So when I find that moment to be creative, I try to capitalize on that moment because I don't know how long it's going to last.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, it was like way back when I was younger, I probably had the attitude that I had a very long time to do this. And then the reality of it is you don't have that much time. If you want to get somewhere with it and you want to enjoy it, you've got to put the time in, you got to practice, and then you'll really start enjoying it.
Yes. Yeah, I agree 100%. You know, it's finding, like, for instance, I was off from work last week, and then on Friday there was this email that came, and I always tell myself, don't look at your emails when you're on vacation from work until you go back, right? But I looked, and it's something that's it frustrated me, and it just took me out of my game. Like I couldn't draw. I was just like, because now my mind is focused on this, right, and having to take care of this when I get to work, and that's the kind of stuff that takes over, right? The things that it's like it's hard to find that inspiration. When you do, you just got to try to just run with it. It's crazy.
A lot of the I would say a lot of the issues that I find so much, it's not just finding the time and having the inspiration. Sometimes I can have that, like too much of it really, but I can't do anything because maybe I ended up with like a 3-day migraine or something.
Yeah.
And that's the annoying thing, because I can't control that. I can control all the rest of the time when I'm feeling good, but I can't control the time when I'm not feeling good. So I end up trying to get a plan together for when I am feeling good so that I can jump back into the artwork and get a few days in. And then if I'm sick again, because migraines hit a lot, unfortunately,
Yeah.
then at least I feel like I accomplished something.
Yeah.
but you have to manage time around so many things that I wasn't having to manage my time around a medical issue in my 20s. And I had all the time in the world, but I didn't do as much artwork back then. I was just busy with other things. Looking back, I wish I'd done more then.
Yeah. It's funny you say that. It's ironic that you say that, because this morning, I had the plan. We didn't get home till 1 a.m, and so I was like, all right, when I get up, I'm going to work out, right? Get ready, play with the dogs, and then do the live stream. When I got up, I was fine when I slept, but when I got up, 10 minutes into me being up, I got a migraine, and I was like, what? So I couldn't work out because the pressure. It's like you can't. So I just wound up sitting in the kitchen, just strolling through social media, and I took a Tylenol to try to get rid of the pain. And it went away after about a half hour, but it was frustrating that I was like, what caused it? Was it because of lack of sleep? But I never got to work out, and so then that throws me off too, because I feel like I have more energy when I get to work out.
Well, I don't actually get a lot of options to work out, because there's certain things that I used to like to do that I've been told, oh, you can't do that, it's not good for your eyes, or you can't do that because of this.
Right.
So I've had to change a lot of things. And right now, the most enjoyable thing that I have as exercise is taking my dog out for a walk. Because if I didn't do that, I don't think I would just go for a walk myself.
Yeah.
It's weird how we used to be so active, and then you get told you can't do this, you can't do that. And I'm at a mindset now where I'm starting to think, really, I can't do it. Well, we'll find out.
Right.
It's probably not the best way to do it, but sometimes I think I might be too cautious.
Right.
So, but I still try and get exercise in. But I used to be much active back in, well, let's just give it like a decade ago, I suppose. That's probably the easiest way to say it. I was definitely more active, but like things change, and I've had to adapt to that. But the thing is, I enjoy sitting down drawing, and there's not a lot of running about doing that. So I have to find exercise somehow.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And I think that it's funny because Daphne Lage, another independent artist, who I did that vlog on the perfect chair, like finding the right chair, and she put a comment in the post like, it's amazing how you can work out and try to be as fit as possible, but just sitting down for long periods of time can affect your body.
Right.
And it's crazy, right? When you think about it, the stress that you put on your shoulders, on your back, on your hands, because you're drawing all for long periods of time. Just that simple act of sitting can create physical issues.
Yeah, well, you got yourself a new chair to sort that out.
Yeah,
You were getting problems.
Yeah, because I was using a dining room chair, and and that was because when I moved, I didn't have enough room in my pods. I had 2 pods when we moved out here, so I sold everything in my office, and so I came out here with nothing, no chairs. So I said, I'll use my dining room chair, and all I did was give me pains. I had like 4 pillows on there, and then I eventually just said, let me go out and get me a real chair. But it took me a while because I wanted to research, because I tried a gaming chair, and the gaming chairs are horrible. It didn't work for me at all. It was just painful. So I saw this chair online, and I started researching it, finding some information on it, and it wasn't really expensive. It was like $70, but it's amazing the feeling that I get on this chair. It's so comfortable, good support on my back. It's like, oh man. So I was like, oh, I guess the patience, paid off. I'm going to switch back and forth between I noticed that you started shading.
I did. Yeah, I'm just I never really do like every single line. I'm not. I would never say I do like line art. I just put all the things down where I want things to be, and then I start working on it and building it up from that. Just starting to put the shades down.
Nice.
That's why I think we had a conversation once where I said there's not really a way for me to hand over an image for somebody to color because they just wouldn't know what I was thinking. It wouldn't not. I feel like not everything would be there.
Right. Yeah, it's funny you say that because my style is very simple, like clean lines, and so when I used to use a colorist until I started coloring my own stuff, I would have to send them reference of, like I would say, I want my colors to look like Angry Birds, Angry Birds the cartoon. I would take screenshots from Angry Birds and say this is the color palette I want, to try to explain how the look that I wanted for it. Then I was like, all right, I got to start learning how to color my own stuff.
I don't think I didn't start coloring much until about, I think it might be around 2011 or 12.
Mm-hmm.
And I just decided I was going to try and color some of my images with watercolor. Didn't know what I was doing. And just decided I was going to have a go. And I'm glad I did because I really enjoyed it. But it took a while for me to get to the point where I felt confident enough to try it because I didn't think I would be any good at doing color. So I did
Right.
I ended up doing a lot of just black and white pencil stuff. In fact, if I look back at like high school art, stuff I did when I was a kid, it's always me busting out like a 2B pencil or something and just sketching on whatever was at hand. And it's usually a pencil sketch of somebody. And that's all I tended to do. So it was later on for me, a lot later, that I decided I was going to actually start doing color stuff.
Wow.
And then there's been times where, since I started doing that I haven't really been able to do as much as I wanted to, because like stuff happened, like eye surgery or something, and I would be recovering for months and I couldn't see much, and I ended up trying like different kinds of crafts instead of just my regular painting.
Right.
Just because I was going a bit crazy not being able to see what was in front of me, but I still wanted to do stuff. Calmed down a lot since. They've not had to do any surgeries in a while. It's because I won't let them. But kind of had enough. So
Yeah,
things have calmed down for a bit, and I just feel like if things did get bad, then yeah, maybe I'd have to go in again. But right now, I'm just making do with the vision that I've got. It could be a lot worse, so I'm just trying to just go with it and not be put off. Just go, well, you can't see like you used to. I just see how I do now, I suppose.
Right.
I mean, I suppose we all get there eventually with like bad eyesight, usually with age, but this was like a pretty quick thing.
Yeah.
It was like an overnight thing. I didn't really have time to work it out and kind of get used to what was happening.
Yeah, that must be really tough.
But it was for a bit, but I think as time goes on and you like start dealing with stuff, you kind of deal with it a bit better.
Right.
It's not the best thing, but it is, it's something that thankfully I went and got looked at pretty early on, so I could have been a lot worse.
Yeah, I think that's the magic word of the day. Is like being proactive and getting ahead of it and getting checking on it first. Hey, shout out to my auntie Lou Pons. What's up, Elizabeth Clark?
Oh, Elizabeth in the house. Yeah, she's doing a shout out from England.
Oh wow.
So we're into her evening. So good evening. But that's that shout out there. That's my niece. Like I say, she's in the UK. She's actually in Scotland.
Oh wow.
Don't want to give too much of a location away, but that's not for me to do.
Yeah.
But what I will say is she's got two of the best kids. I'm not going to give their names either. That's not for me to do. I'm just going to say the two of the best kids you could have.
That's awesome. It's funny you say that because even like when I'm away, I don't post anything about where I am or the fact that I'm away until like after I've returned. Because the way the world is today.
People are weird.
Yeah, I know.
Let's just say it. People can be weird.
Yes. Exactly. So I'm like, it's okay. I'll
But you have a niece, don't you, Sam? You were doing stuff the other month or something.
Say that again.
You have a niece. Did you not go to like was it like the Scream thing for Halloween?
Oh yes. 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 So it's my niece on my wife's side. We took her for her birthday to the Scream venue event. It's like a haunted ranch. It was fantastic.
Yeah, you had a video up. I saw that with the with all the screaming and flashing lights.
Yeah, and me laughing.
I was like, I swear I saw you with your sunglasses on. I was like, yes, that would be me.
Oh, that was the 3D glasses. Yes. So we were in this one haunted house that you had to wear these 3D glasses, and everything looks like it's coming at you. The floor looks like it's not even there. It was a really good experience.
Okay, well that puts more in context now, because if you look back and watch that video again and think like, okay, they're not 3D glasses, you just wear a regular sunglasses, you look crazy, and it's hilarious. Like, yeah, what is actually going on now? I was like, that'd be me in my sunglasses. Seeing nothing.
Yeah, we've done that like 6 times already. Like every year we go there. It's fun. It gets better every year. They have the best popcorn. Yeah, it's just total fun. Yeah. So talk about your process right now. What's happening here?
But right now, I'm just masking off with a selection tool, just the areas that I want to shade. I could just go all over, but I'm going to have to do a lot of erasing. Because first off, what I did was I had this just a black shape, and then I just erased out the shapes that I wanted to shade.
Right.
Just kind of planning. So I just go in with like the soft airbrush.
Mm-hmm.
And I usually keep it pretty big because I just want to put a color in. I say a color, it's black. I'm using the same black. I haven't changed it. I'm not using gray. It's just black. And it's just a case of putting in, and I've got the opacity down really low as well for this black. So it's really just coming out as the gray. So just putting different tones in here where I want them, and then I just kind of blend in and create the shapes of the tree.
Nice.
I kind of like using that selection tool for masking and using the airbrush digitally, because when I'm not working digitally, I tend to do a lot of airbrush stuff. So when I get the airbrush out, I'm making stencils, which is just kind of like this, just masking areas off. But obviously this is way faster and less messy.
Right. It's always fascinating to see everybody's process. Like I am a student by nature. I love, like I was just watching David Finch, and he was studying Ryan Otley's work on Spider-Man, and they were recreating some of these amazing poses that Ryan Otley put Spider-Man in, and even Finch was honest about how difficult it is to capture some of these angles that Ryan Otley uses, and Ryan Otley's work is fantastic. So I'm always just a fan of watching people's process and learning from others, from everybody who's in art, because it's just, I always learn something new with every single person I watch.
Well, I often go and look for videos all over, just kind of like the how-tos, or like how I did this, or this is the easy way to do whatever. I do
Nice.
look at those, and I have gotten a lot of ideas and tips from them. Some of them, they're not going to help you at all, but
Right.
if you find good ones, they're definitely helpful.
Yes.
But I still end up finding my own process. That's the thing. I still have the way that I want to do this, and I think it's probably like a merge of everything that I've been looking at. You just start to create your own process.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, exactly. So it's similar here. Like I've watched so many people how they approach the page or how they approach the body, but I always tend to fall back to what makes me more comfortable. Um, but I love to see their process and the mindset and how they even came to that conclusion of where to start, where to finish. It's just very fascinating to see that everybody has a different method, but they all get to their destination. It's just the how part is very different, artist by artist.
Right.
How long have you been in Texas?
Since like 2004, 2005. Started coming over here 2004, and then stayed here permanently 2005. The only times I've traveled back to England was 2009, 2012. So it's been a while since I've been over there. It's been quite some time. But it was the internet that ended up getting me over here.
The internet?
Yeah.
What was it about?
I accidentally met somebody on the internet. Wasn't looking, but no, not with them anymore. But that's how I ended up here.
Wow.
So all I can say is, anyone watching out there, be careful on the internet.
Yes.
You might find something you're not looking for, and it may not work out.
Yeah.
Although it's worked out good now. I'm fine now, but yeah, I didn't imagine I would end up over here.
Yeah, it's funny how that works. One of my closest friends, back in the days when MySpace first merged. Oh, Elizabeth says multitasking here right now, kids' bedtime and supporting mom life.
Oh, Yeah, she's like I said. I've got the best. Got the best niece. Did I
That's
say
awesome.
that? If not, I'm saying it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, so he met a girl on Facebook. No, on MySpace, and he flew to California to spend time for the holidays with her. She came out here, met his parents. Then he packed everything up, went out there, and now they have, I think, 3 kids, and they've been together over 20 years.
See, I have heard stories where it works out, and that's great. But there's plenty that don't work out like that.
Yeah, I've heard horror
But I
stories.
mean, you gotta give it a try, I suppose. That was back in my younger days. Not that long ago, but I swear I was younger. It's weird though, I suppose, like back then when I made the decision to come over here, I don't know if it's a decision I would necessarily make now to just like, well, I'll just move to another country.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's a big decision. And I ask myself all the time, if I had to go somewhere, where would I go? I mean,
Yeah,
I
where would you
spent
go?
I spent time in Austria, and I really liked it there. Um, I like the history. I love the culture, the architecture. I thought it was fascinating. I would, that's if I had to pick a place, that would probably be one of the places I'd pick.
I think if I was to end up in another country, I'm thinking maybe Australia.
Nice. You been there
I
before?
think that's just because I'm fascinated by just the fact that there's kangaroos out in the street and like I've seen people actually fight those things. It sounds wild out there.
Hey, what's up, Christopher? Austria is beautiful. Yes, it is.
Oh yeah, I used to do a
Kangaroos.
lot of traveling around there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he can tell you. I mean, he could come in here and tell you. I don't know where he's at right now, but he's around.
Yeah, I've had the pleasure of going to Austria. I've been to Madrid and Barcelona. I've been to Denmark. Denmark is also the architecture. I mean, I'm just a big fan of just history and the beauty of some of the buildings, and it's just fantastic. Um, let's see. Soul layout. I'm switching back and forth. So you drop it in flats.
This is selection.
That's selection
I'm
too. Oh,
using,
hey.
yeah, I'm using the selection tool. Just picking some areas to drop some tones in, just so I can do some work on it on the actual character of Doodie.
Nice.
But this is like I'm just trying a bit of a faster way of doing some stuff.
Right.
Oh, I see my gap. The good thing with this is it's really quick to save your selection too if you wanted to and fix something up more and bring it up later.
Yeah.
Get in and fix the areas that aren't closed. This is why I'm not a line art person. See that? This is why I'm not a line art person.
Oh, I mean, I'm always closing all of the holes on my page. Because sometimes I'll just try to just do swishes and quick strokes, and then I realize, wait, I didn't close that up.
Right.
So what got you into comics?
Well, when I was a kid, I liked the funnies, just like how you do the comic strip, the Doodie comic strip in A Kid in a Comic, like where you get the funny page.
Yeah.
I always liked that. I was always waiting for my dad to pass that part of the newspaper over. And if he
Yeah.
started doing the crossword, I'd be like sitting there like, come on, hand it over. But that was kind of my thing. And then I did have some other comic stuff that I would get from me when I was real little. It was a bit kind of like girly comic stuff when I think back. And I didn't like it so much. But I tended to go into more like comedy stuff. And as I got into like my teen years, I found comic books that are definitely not PG, but I'm talking like the humor. It was like toilet humor and not your toilet in an
Right.
alien format. This was like, for adults, it was funny. It was a comic called Viz, and that was a local comic for me. It was born in Newcastle. So I was really into that. So never really been into like the superhero comics. It was always
Right.
just kind of like the humor. It was that kind of stuff, that short stuff that I liked. And it was later on that I got more into the characters like your Marvel and DC, because I got swept along to the Comic Cons.
Mm.
And sometimes I felt like I fit in with what I wanted to do, and other times I felt so alienated from it. But it's just thinking back to what I was used to, the humor stuff, the random characters. That's something that I remember more from my childhood than superheroes. And when I was a kid playing outside, we used to invent our own superheroes and supernatural characters. So I don't really have memories of your regular DC comic stuff
Right.
or Marvel comic stuff. It's always been like local or just kind of just not that commercial.
Right.
But the cons dragged me into it.
Nice.
Still not got me dragged in there wholly. I'm not like Batman obsessed and stuff, but I do have a giant Wonder Woman tapestry on the wall behind me.
Oh, nice.
I like stuff like that, but it's never really been something I followed as a kid. It was a whole different kind of comic that I looked at. That's probably why I enjoy doing more humor in art. A lot of my things have had a little bit of comedy in.
Yeah, I've always preferred humor. I just like to laugh. And you know, I've always been a fan of Jim Davis and Charles Schultz and Jim Henson and Fraggle Rock and all the cool stuff. Except I think they asked me yesterday if there's one person that you can have an audience with, who would it be? And then for me, it would either be Charles Schultz or Jim Henson. I'd love to get into their mind and just listen to them tell stories.
Yeah, for me, I think Jim Henson would be definitely one of, if he was available.
Yeah, I know.
But
I know.
that's the thing. It's like you forget sometimes. It sometimes feels like so long ago, but the Jim Henson workshop has really become kind of like legendary, and for good reason.
Yeah. Yes, and I think it's appreciating those that came before you and paved the way, and took the art form into new heights, So I'm always like, I found, and I'm going to share it on my next vlog, but I found this book at a buy and sell bookstore, and a comic strip artist, and it's the life and times of his creations and stuff like that. I think he did Beetle Bailey and stuff like that. I'm so inspired and motivated by. you know.
I'm trying to think about who I'm inspired by at the moment. And it's weird because I feel like I'm going through kind of like an exploration period of seeing what's out there.
Yeah.
I feel like I've had a little bit tunnel vision on
Mhm.
some art stuff
Yeah.
for a while. And you kind of take the blinkers off and see if there's anything else out there. That's where I feel like I'm at right now. But probably my first influences, I think back when I really started taking this seriously, was I was probably a little obsessed with Frazetta.
Oh yeah. Have you been to his? Have you ever been to his museum?
I haven't been able to go up to the museum, but when they did tour some of his paintings around, I did get to see those.
Oh man. We went to the museum years ago. Myself, George, Anibal Royals, Jonathan Syfax. We drove out there. It's a beautiful drive. Number one, upstate New York. The foliage and the scenery. And we went there. We just missed him. He got it when we pulled in. He was getting loaded into a car to go to the dentist.
Oh
So we
wow.
saw him. This is when he was alive. We saw him, but we never actually had FaceTime with him. But we had FaceTime with his wife, and she gave us the full tour of the museum because it's on their estate, so they live on the same property as their museum. And
Right.
we sat on the floor, and she was just sharing stories of what it was like.
That would have been
And
Ellie.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was fantastic, the stories that she would share with us, and the fact that she took the time to just sit on the floor with us and just tell us stories. Such a great experience. I wish we would have had FaceTime with him, but it's one of those things where like I was never good at trying to get an audience with the people that influenced me. I regret it with Stanley. I regret it, with Frazetta, because we stood there long enough to try to see if he'll come back, but he was at that dentist longer than we expected because we were there for a couple
Yeah.
hours. But so for me, if I ever get a chance, like I'd love to get FaceTime with Todd McFarlane. I'd love to get FaceTime with Jeff Smith, who does Bone. You know, so if I ever run into them, I'm going to capitalize on those moments. But it was fascinating. I mean, the Frazetta Museum is, and she talked about how when he had the stroke, that he had to teach himself to draw with his other hand because he couldn't draw
Yeah.
any paint with his. It was fantastic. His tenacity and ability to create, even when he was facing adversity, it's just amazing.
Yeah. Have you seen some of the pieces that he did left-handed?
Yes, she showed. They were on display at the museum.
Yeah.
You couldn't even
There's
tell the
one of
difference.
Well, there's one of a tiger that I saw, and it's a tiger drawn with his left hand, and I couldn't even do that with my right hand, the one that works, the one that does
Yeah,
things.
yeah. It's fascinating how skilled and talented he is.
Right.
It's that's why it's like it's if you have the ability to create whenever you can, I say just do it, because you got stories like that that's just so inspiring.
Well, I liked hearing about the fact that she had to lock him out of the museum
Yeah,
because he would go in and take a painting that he'd worked on and change it because he decided he wanted something else, another look.
yeah, yeah.
And these were paintings that had already been used on the covers of magazines. And so he'd go and change it.
Yeah, you could just call it remastered.
Yeah, so from what I understand, he was locked out of his own museum. He couldn't be in there unsupervised.
Yeah, there's a famous painting of his where he has a warrior on a sled being pulled by polar bear, and no one's ever picked up on the fact that he's being pulled by polar bear, but there are no reins. There's nothing attached to them, attaching them to the sled. No one
Oh,
picked up
that
on it.
one, yes.
Yeah, it's fascinating how you're just mesmerized by the artwork, but the most critical piece of information is not even there.
Wow, the invisible rings.
Yes.
Oh, I'm trying to stop myself jumping up and looking at the book or the calendar with it in now. Like, do I look? No, I'll wait and look at it later. I'll be like, there, they're not there. That's it.
They're not there. No, it is. It's fascinating. Um, you know, she had
That
to
is
tell us.
that's pretty cool though. It's so good you don't see it. And there's a
Yes.
lot of techniques I think in art that when you realize what the technique is and things that aren't there, they're not drawn in, but you see them. It's
Yeah.
kind of cool.
Yes. Yeah.
It's the level I need to aim to get at, level of confusion. I don't know. How did that happen? Where am I at?
Have you ever had a chance to meet any artists that you admired?
Have I ever what? Sorry?
Had the opportunity to meet any of the artists that you admired?
Oh yeah. There's a few. Oh, weird. There's one I often think about because they're no longer with us, and that's Bernie Wrights, and he lived close by for a short while, so we got to see him quite often. He was just really cool. Seeing some of his work and just listening to his stories, that was fascinating.
Yeah.
The other probably favorites that I would say that's definitely memorable for me would be Boris Vallejo and Julie Bell.
Mm-hmm. Boris Vallejo. Yeah, I have some of his books.
Yeah, really good fantasy artists. I
Yes.
was quite overwhelmed to meet those two. I think that was it. I think that was at Comic Palooza, probably about 10 years ago now.
Oh wow.
And at first I didn't think they were going to show up because they got delayed on the first day. I think they arrived the second day, and I was so happy that they actually got there and made it so I could just meet them and get some prints. But they were really nice people.
Yeah, Comic Palooza seems to be such a huge venue. I'm excited I finally got in. I tried for 2 years. I was always on a waiting list, and they always wound up contacting me the day of the event to say, "Oh, we got a spot open." I was like, "It's too late. It's too late. I can't go."
Yeah, I mean,
so
that's fair.
Yeah, there was like, "Oh, table freed up. Do you want it?" I was like, "The day of the event?" I was like, "There's no way I can make it there. You crazy?" But yeah, so I'm excited and just to hang out with Marco, who's a fantastic artist. He actually got a booth right next to me, so that's going to be pretty cool. And then with Dan Price, it's going to be cool.
Yeah, you'll have fun with Dan. I think Dan always does well at Comic Palooza. We just well at most of the conventions, I believe, because he's got really good products. He's got good vibe. It goes back to when he did Latex Avenger. That's when I met Dan, when he was doing that.
Yeah.
And then he did Masters of the Obvious. That was funny. And I don't think there's much happening anymore with Latex Avenger, because that's definitely something that I think holds dear to a friend he worked with, also a friend of mine, Bon, that was working on that. He's no longer with us. That's so sad, because he was doing some fun stuff in that book.
Was that recent?
No, sometimes it feels recent, but no, it's been a while. But I feel like it. I feel like maybe. I know that Dan had moved on to do the Masters of the Obvious, but I think if there was any chance for the Latex Avenger to come back, I just think that went away with Bon. But the stuff that Dan's doing now, he's like doing really well.
Right.
He's got Bigfoot Knows Karate.
Yes.
Like, I have a copy of that book one. I looked at that. That's really good. And Dan draws his stuff with his finger.
Yeah. Which is unique.
Yeah, I couldn't do that.
Yeah, it's so unique. His process. You know, that's how we met. We met on he was a guest on the show, and that's how I met Dan. And then we were at Central Texas Comic Con in Waco, and then we went out to dinner. It was fantastic. We had a fantastic time. It's always great.
Dan's a cool guy to hang out with.
Yeah, definitely. And it's I always love, because we've interviewed hundreds and hundreds of talented creators on our show, and it's always fun when you get to actually meet them. You know.
Yeah, that's the fun part. That's what I miss about not doing the cons. Just the meeting people, but maybe I'll get back to it at some point. But hey, Sam, I'm just gonna have to take a quick break. I'll be back in a couple of minutes.
Sure. Yeah, I put the screen on mine right now.
Yeah, so I want to come back and have a look at yours. I've been looking at it. It's looking really cool.
Thank you.
Be right back.
All right. So I see I got some overlapping here. I got to clean up. This is what happens when you do quick strokes on the computer. It doesn't look as clean as you like it to be. But yeah, so today we're drawing Doodie as a samurai with guest artist Pons, and we're just shooting the breeze, talking about everything comics. So I think I'm ready to drop in some flats on this character. But before
I'm back.
Cool.
I like the way the sword is curved, and then his kind of curve with the hat.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like that.
Thanks. Yeah, I didn't know what I was gonna do.
It's like he's.
Huh?
It's like he's got the wind coming at him.
Yes. Yeah, it was fun. Yeah, but this morning I was like, all right, which version of Samurai Doodie do I want to draw today? And I was trying to figure that out. And then I just said, let's just go with the flow and see what happens. And I just started building it. And like I didn't expect to put him with the ponytail, but I was like, I like the ponytail. I'm gonna put it in there.
Yeah, the way you did the ponytail one, I was like, I'm gonna try that one. Like, I was thinking about putting a hat on him. I maybe could do a hat and the ponytail, but
Yeah, I'm inspired by when I grew up, we used to have on Saturdays, they would have the Kung Fu flicks at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So, me and my friends would go out, we play baseball, ride our dirt bikes in the morning and hang out. And everybody would go back home on time for the Kung Fu flicks at 3 o'clock.
right.
Then at 4 o'clock, everybody ran outside with their nunchucks. And everybody, and we played like we were Kung Fu masters, and we were, it was crazy. So in a lot of the Kung Fu flicks, they had the ponytails. They had the straw hats. So there's a lot of that influence when I'm drawing Doodie here.
So it was like the old wise or evil one has the white hair and the white beard.
Yeah.
Yeah, my probably obsession was I was kind of Jackie Chan for me back in the day.
Yes, Jackie. Well, Jackie Chan was he was in the Drunken Master.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, Jackie Chan's the man. Are you guys watching anything on streaming?
Well, I'm trying to still get time to watch the actual Blue-Eyed Samurai. I love doing samurais.
That is fantastic.
The other animation one I've been watching is Love, Death, and Robots because the episodes are real short, so I can just catch a few here and there.
Love, Death, and Robots. Is that an animation as well?
It is, yeah. It's a lot of different animations. It's not like the same thing. Over some of them have like themes. I think like different seasons, you might get like a follow up to another short episode from the previous one because some of them do look kind of similar. Right. I haven't seen them all yet, but they can be anything like 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 20 minutes, and they're really good. I think it's on Netflix because I remember seeing it was a made for Netflix thing.
Oh, nice.
And it's pretty good. So you've been watching, was it Jack Reacher?
Oh yeah, I love Jack Reacher. It's such a cool show. I love both the movie and the series.
I haven't seen any of it. I just hear a lot of people talk about it though.
Yeah, the main actor, he's a cool dude.
Who is in it, do you know?
His name is what's his name? Richardson? Something Richardson. He was in a series on I forgot the name. It was this comedy series on television. That's how he started his career. Blue Mountain State. Something Blue Mountain. Yeah, it was some sort of comedy. It's called Blue Mountain State. That's how he started out, and then he just started getting offers as he progressed. But he's a big family guy. He has his own podcast. He's a big family guy. He doesn't like the lifestyle, like the Hollywood lifestyle. He all his downtime he's with his family. He tries not to get caught up in all of the hoopla. Very spiritual. He has a strong faith. So, but I just like. I mean, and the guy's just a monster. I mean, he's just humongous. The amount of muscle he's put on for the series, and he said that's the hardest part is keeping that muscle on.
I was gonna say, is this naturally something he does, or is this?
No, he has to get like bigger for the show, and he says the hard part is keeping on all that muscle because of the weight it puts on him. It's hard to carry around all that weight. I forgot how much weight he put on, but he put on a lot. If you look at the size of the guy,
fast.
Yeah. Well, he trains really hard. You know.
See, if I want to put on weight, I'm just gonna like look at a pie or something.
Oh yeah, as you get older, it gets so easy to put on weight. If you just give me something with sugar in it, the next day I'm 5 pounds heavier.
Yeah, but I mean, with me, it's just like, oh, did you look at some bread yesterday? Look what happened. Yes, I looked at it. That's all I needed to do.
Yeah, it's crazy how that works. It's I try to stay away from sugar because of that.
I stopped drinking soda when I came over to Texas.
Oh yeah, I stopped drinking soda years ago. I gave that up. I drink seltzer water, carbonated water. I stay away from salsa. I stay away from. I don't drink fruit juices. My coffee, I only put cinnamon in it. It's just almond milk and cinnamon. That's it. Because it's so easy. Like last night at my brother-in-law's birthday, I didn't have the cake because number one, by the time they started to cut the cake, it was around 10:30, and I was like, oh no, I'll wake up, with like 7 extra rolls. I said, that's okay.
Yeah.
Did your was your cat adopted? How did you get your cats?
Oh, which one? I mean,
how many do you have?
Just kidding. We got 4 right now.
Oh, that's nice.
Well, we did have a lot more because it's a blended family of cats. Christopher had cats, I had cats, so
that's awesome.
It was kind of like a Brady Bunch family of cats. So, unfortunately, though, they got old. Some of them got old, and they're no longer with us. But we still have 4. They're all getting quite elderly, apart from one. He's still quite active. He's about 5. He's still crazy. But the one that was making all the noise is the oldest one, and she's very demanding, and she's got a good right to be. She's old and she deserves to be demanding. So I'll just go with that. So she gets whatever she wants. That's why she was shouting, just to see what she could get.
Oh.
And then I have Cleo, who's kind of like one of the middle-aged, along with her brother Indy, and they're completely opposite. Indy's really slim. Poor Cleo, she got a weight issue, and unfortunately it blinded her because she got blood pressure issues. We couldn't get the weight off. So yeah, don't let your cats get fat, people. It's not good.
Oh yeah, I know. Believe me, I know. I have cats of my own.
Because it's like, it's one thing to say, oh yeah, really cute, cuddly, chubby kitty, but it's not good for the cat.
No,
so
it isn't.
She's blind. I suppose not completely though, because she still reacts to some things. but you can't really see anything in front of her. I think it's just light and dark. So we had to arrange things so that she can navigate around the house. She does good.
Right.
She does better than me. And with my vision issues, I get really frustrated. She does better than me, but animals adapt way better than we do.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, it's hard to know if they're in pain. When they, it's like I found out the hard way with, because I have cats as well, and I found out the hard way that my cat was sick because there were no signs of it, other than she started losing weight. And so I was like, well, let's take her in because she's losing weight pretty quickly. And they gave her IV, did some stuff. We changed her diet, and she put her weight back on. But something was happening that caused her to lose weight dramatically. But they're not telling you. Yeah, they're not going up to you and say, "Hey, I'm not feeling good." So you have to be like aware of the signs, because sometimes you won't see it.
Right.
That's the tough part. Were there any cartoons that you grew up with as a kid that you were like into?
Oh, Sibby, if you're saying grown, I'll probably giving my age away. Yeah, no, where we're at here. Trying she will say something like Teletubbies.
That's funny.
And I used to like. I mean, I watched shows like in my teens and 20s, like the Saturday morning cartoon stuff. It was hilarious. Anything that they would have on reruns. I love the classic Scooby-Doo. I mean, I can't get enough of that as a kid. Just Scooby-Doo was hilarious.
Yeah.
I definitely enjoyed a little bit of He-Man. I mean, who wouldn't?
Oh yeah. Yes, I know. I still have
Even
my.
though it's like it's so funny when you watch these and you think it's like you got He-Man and Superman, and for these people to just go around being other people and then suddenly become like He-Man and Superman with like shape their hair or just take the glasses off or something. It's like, wow.
Yes.
They're so gullible as people.
I still have my all of my He-Man action figures.
You have all of? Do you have Cringer?
I have all of them. I have Cringer. I have
Battlecat.
Yeah, I have Battlecat. I have Cringer. I have Beastman. I have Man at Arms. I have I got He-Man battle armor, regular He-Man. I got Skeletor. I got Tila. I have. They're in a box they're in storage in my garage, but I have all of them. I don't have Castle Grayskull.
No.
So, one of the things that happened, my brother, when I was a kid, got rid of all of I came home. I was in the 5th grade. I came home one day and all of my action figures were gone. So I had Snake Mountain. I had Castle Grayskull. I had the vehicles. I had everything. And I also had tons of G.I. Joe and everything. And I came home. They were all gone. My brother threw it all away. He said I was getting too big.
Oh, that's mean.
Yes, Emily Clark says Power Rangers. So I vowed that when I got older that I would go and get everything back. So I got all my G.I. Joes back. I have about 150 GI Joe figures in a box, and I got all of my. I didn't get all of the vehicles back because it was just too costly, but I got all the figures back. I got some of the vehicles, but yeah, it was heartbreaking, heartbreaking.
I remember when I was a kid, I used to often swap stuff with the other kids. Like we got tired of the toys and then we'd swap and then we'd have to like make sure the parents knew what we were doing.
Yeah.
Just in case we swapped out for something that was, not the equivalent value.
Yeah.
No, make sure nobody was giving away the computer,
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but I was but it's interesting because that generation that grew up with all of those influences were the most influential generation in media.
Yeah.
It's like because they were inspired and the creativity was there. It was a fun time. That magic has been lost over the years. It's unfortunate. It's funny because a lot of my friends were big, huge Power Rangers fans. But I wasn't.
Neither was I.
I was a Street Fighter. I was into Pokemon, really mostly because of the theme song. I think it's like the best cartoon theme song ever made. But I was not really a big Power Rangers fan, and I don't know why. It never clicked with me. But a lot of my friends were. They were like die hard. To this day, they still die hard.
I know a lot of people who really, really were into it, and I just didn't see the appeal. I have no problem admitting that I didn't get it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I have a friend that anytime there's an actor from Power Rangers that's at a convention, they go to that convention just to get a signature, FaceTime.
Was there not some there was some stuff that went down with some Power Rangers. Every time for me when I hear about Power Rangers, it's like, oh, somebody went to prison or something. Am I imagining this, or is that happening?
Oh, I'd be the last person to know. I know there's been some drama with some of the Power Rangers, but what specifically, I wouldn't be able to tell you.
I don't know. It's just like that's all I really hear about them. Like if I see in news stuff about them, no one's really talking about them unless they do something where the police show up, maybe.
Yeah. So you do blacks first, and then you apply colors afterwards, huh?
Well, this is one way I do it. If I was going to do a full painting, I'd probably have all my color palette done, and I would just do the shading with all the colors. But this way I'm doing it, I just have it so that I'll put my shading in. I just use the same black color all the way through. And then, as an example, if I went to this layer underneath, let me grab colors. These are, I don't know if this is normal, but I like to drop colors around and mix them actually on here. Maybe that's because I came from traditional painting.
Right.
But this is kind of what I like to do. I like to make colors on the palette. So kind of make this like a better green because it's quite yellow.
Ah.
And then I
Yeah.
find a green. So this is on a layer. I don't know if you can see, but it's underneath. Let me show you. So this is Doodie on that layer with some
Right.
color there. Hold on. God. Sorry, I had two of them. I've got a backup one in case I mess it up. So that's him on that layer. So if we went to the layer underneath and then started, hold on, where's my, you see, I'm just going right across so you can see the difference.
Right.
But then it puts all the shading in it already.
Oh, nice. I see. Yeah.
And then if I wanted to, you can go in and you can erase some of it out.
Ah, nice.
But quite often what I like to do is not even bother erasing the colors. I'll just take this and maybe try and line it up again.
Right.
Just find a mix. There's like, see how you can just be changing the colors, and you can also vary colors in there as well and just place them where you want them.
Ah, I got it. So Elizabeth says, she says X-Men on a Saturday morning was her go-to.
X-Men.
Yes.
Wow. That's gone back a bit as well.
That original soundtrack. That was the best. Yes.
So see, this is a really rough color of this. You see, just dropping it in everywhere else doesn't do anything, but because I've shaded it up here, it already looks like I've put all the colors in.
Yeah. Oh, that's a really cool process.
And then with the pants, like say, let's make a brown, some kind of brown if I can. Okay, so that's kind of brown. And then see how it just darkens up in there as well, and it already pops the color in.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously I'd put it in neater.
Yeah.
And then probably, you can put the color in a lot lighter. It doesn't have to be completely opaque.
Right.
So yeah, that's what those dots are about there. If you were wondering, I just sometimes pull a palette up and mix it on here because that's the way I can keep consistency with the colors instead of just keep going to the color picker.
Yeah.
And then trying to remember what I had. It's just I can mix a lot of colors from that one. Like from that one group there, I can just pull a lot. Actually, let me. So what I normally do is I'll get the colors with each other. Let me get a better brush. And then I'll just run lightly over it and see all my variations of colors that I can make with this.
That's interesting.
And as long as you're picking these colors, they're all going to be harmonious because you've already picked. Like you can't probably see, but there's a white here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it's not quite white. It's off white. I don't pick a pure white. But that's what I do. I make colors with all of this.
Smart. One thing I haven't done yet is build my palettes, my color palette yet. I always have like a page open with a pre-colored, and I just go and use the color picker to get the same consistency, because I haven't gotten there yet to create my own swatch.
Yeah, it took me a while before I started doing the color mixing like that. I was just thinking all the colors would be there, and then I realized that I wasn't picking the ones that were going together.
Right. It's funny because when I used to work in security way back in the days, and on our 10th floor there was a room, they had a TV on it, and on those weekends, I go up, especially Sunday mornings, I go up and have my breakfast before I started my shift, and I'd watch X-Men and Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends.
Yeah.
It was always fun times.
I remember there was a few cartoons that I used to watch that I didn't realize it at the time, but until I got a bit older, I realized that my dad enjoyed watching the cartoons as well. He would make sure that he was up as soon as he heard them start, and he would come in acting all nonchalant, like he wasn't really that much in a hurry, but he was hurrying like all of the kids.
Mm-hmm.
He wanted to sit and watch cartoons as well.
Yeah. I don't know how that happened.
I keep having to stand up to take a look at what you've got on your screen there. It's looking good.
Thanks. Right now I'm just doing the flats. In the front, and I'm just dropping in. I want them like in a field or something, and I just dropped in that pillar that's going to be in the background. Let me get this a little darker.
What is that in the background? A pergola or something? Is that what they call them?
Is that what they call them?
I think so.
Yeah.
Like a little wooden frame, and sometimes like plants and stuff grow where you can like stand in it, or
well, yeah, it's
stand there and drink tea in it. I don't know.
It's like that temple or whatever that they Yes, that was the theme tune. 90s baby. Yeah, man. It's a true story. Um, I used to wake up my TV. I used to have a program to wake up to turn on at a specific time every morning, and it was the same time that Pokemon would start. So I would wake up to the theme song of Pokemon, and it was I would always start my day energized because of that theme song. The good old days. Put this down
I feel
here.
like my head is empty of theme songs right now, and that's probably a good thing because there's a lot could go wrong there if I get something stuck in my head.
Yeah, I know. I'll put like a grayish background, a grayish green. Maybe a little. So if I hide you, if I hide you, hide you, hide, 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 hide. Drop the color. Okay. Let's see. So I want that color. Yeah, that color will work. Okay. But I need to hide all this now. That close this gap. Bingo. All right, cool. Switch over. On average, how long does it take you when you're working on a piece?
It depends what it is, what's actually happening, what it's being done for, how far I want to take it, but it can
Right.
be hours, days. Some of them will take I would say on average, if I do a full painty look, like the whole thing color, it
Right.
could be anywhere between 20 to 40 hours, depending on what it is. I would have to have a look and see what some of the timed ones show. Because mostly everything is recorded, but a lot of the time.
That piece that you did, the Home Alone piece, how long did that take you? Oh, hello there. We just lost it. Let me see if I can get it back.
Really depends.
Oh, there you she's back. Good.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you not hear me?
No, we lost you for a second. What were you saying?
Just the talk like at the end. I'll have to, like, if I had to do a really fast piece, I'd need to know what the exact time somebody would want me to do that in. And then the completed piece would be based on the time that I was given. If I'm given enough time to do what I would want to do, then I could go for like 40 hours easy.
Right.
But then if it was the same idea for a piece, there'd be two completely different looking pieces at the end. It would be done in the time that was given.
Yeah.
How long does it normally take you to, like, say for example, I know you do the panels like a lot, but how is that? That to me seems that would be like the longest process for you.
Yeah, comic book page. What takes the longest for me is figuring out the layout and what I want. So that'll take me, like, I could do, once I have the fundamentals down, as far as the layout, I can finish a full comic page, pencil, ink, color, digitally. I can do it in a day. But sometimes it all depends. Like, in fact, there's a page that I'm working on that took me some time because of all the elements that I wanted on it, and I was overthinking it. And so I kept on restarting. But if I'm in a groove and I can get a page down in a day, and a day could be anywhere between 8 to 12 hours for a comic page with like 4 to 5 panels. If I'm in a groove. There's been some pages that took me a couple days because of some of the elements that I wanted in there. And I just kept overthinking, and I wasn't happy with what was coming out. So all depends on my mindset, where I am, how I'm feeling at the time. And I have a good grasp of where it's going. Because I don't know about you, like sometimes I'll know, and I start drawing, and then it changes up on me. Then I'm like, oh, I think I'm gonna try this instead.
That happens with me a lot.
Yeah, because you realize, oh, whatever you initially thought of, it's just not working. And then a better idea pops in your head, and then that'll throw me off track. And I do that with the script too. So I'll start drawing based on the script that I wrote for myself. And then I'm like, no, this is not working. So I'll wind up rewriting as I draw it. I'll draw the scene totally different, or I'll add an element totally different, and then I'll rework the script to support it. So I think, but on average, if I'm in the zone, a day. If I'm not in the zone, it's gonna take longer.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know where to begin on a panel. I mean, the one that I did for Doodie, that was just something that I knew I was just going to do that page, and that I had plenty of time to do it. I didn't have anyone expecting anything. And that was the first time I even tried to do one, like a panel. And I had a good time doing it. I have to admit, I liked it. But I was thinking, that's not something that I could see myself just doing like immediately, like one a day. So like I admire you for doing like a page a day, because that's something that I don't see myself doing it like tomorrow. Maybe in a few months I might get into a groove of doing stuff like that, but it all takes practice. Whatever style you're doing, you got to take time to practice.
Yeah, that's the reason why I do the daily streams where I'm drawing Doodie in different things, because that's really me working on my speed. So, like right now, talking to you while I'm doing this piece, doing these one-shot pieces, which is really just like a panel, right? This is really me focusing on my hand-eye coordination, my speed. So when I'm doing the pages, like my goal is to do 2 pages a day. that's my goal,
Hmm.
start to finish. And this is like working out. The daily drawing, the one pieces, it's me working out, really working my muscles, working on angles, working on backdrops, working on my coloring. Like every time I do this, I'm really challenging myself with everything I'm doing, so I can get faster. And not just faster for the sake of speed, but faster and complementing my growth as well. So hopefully applying all the things that I'm learning and adapting it to the speed as well.
That's what one thing that I have tried to do is try and find some consistency to get into a flow that I'm comfortable and like taking further.
Yeah.
And a lot of the things that I was drawing over the last couple of years, I kind of felt like I was struggling to really get into it. I wasn't really enjoying it. I was just kind of there
Right.
trying to make it work.
Right.
And this, what I'm doing right now with drawing Doodie, this is not normally, I don't think people would expect this from me if you talk to people who knew me from maybe 5 years plus back. I really don't know, but I definitely needed to do some different things.
Doodie has that effect on people. I'm just saying he is kind of magical.
Yes, I have a lot of fun with this. I mean, I was mainly drawing people.
That's awesome.
So to do this it's definitely been something that's helped me feel less kind of stuck in a rut.
Yeah.
And it's allowed me to be a little bit more consistent with, okay, I'm going to draw another one. I'm going to draw, oh, I've got another idea. Let me do this. And that definitely helps to bring a bit of consistency and then an actual desire to want to just continue on the drawing. Like, oh, I can't wait to wake up in the morning so I can actually start drawing again. That kind of feeling.
Right.
Instead of looking for an excuse as to why I'm not drawing. Oh, I've got so many other things to do. It's definitely made a difference, and I like to feel like that better than the feeling where I'm just struggling and kind of fighting alongside or with towards something. I don't know. It's just I don't want it to be a struggle, and I think letting yourself try other things is definitely the way to go.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny because when I used to draw traditional comics, that's how I started. I always felt like it was work. It didn't feel fun until I found my voice and started drawing the comics that made me, gave me the most joy. And it was really when I started drawing. There's a series that I created called Cosmic Wars, and then Doodie, Designated My Toilet. That's when I felt more free. And I felt like, all right, I found my home. This is what I prefer to draw. And I think it's a matter of preference, right? So I think that's what I ended up understanding. It's like, I don't draw like Todd McFarlane or Jim Lee or Mark Silvestri. That's not my strength. And it took a long time to come to terms with the fact that that wasn't my strength.
When it comes down to it, though, I think what needs to be said is it is good to look at idols and say, wow, they're really good. That's definitely the stuff that I like and whatever. You've got to remember that person already exists and we don't need another one.
Yeah.
You've got to be yourself. That person's already taken.
Yeah.
But I think we've all been at a point where you've really wanted to be like a particular icon of yours, whether that be a singer, a writer, painter, an actor. I think we've all had those like desires that you think that's what I want to be, and why can't I get there? It's because that person's already been that person.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's but to come to that realization takes time, right? Because I think sometimes, we think we have to be, right? I mean, think about how many creators out there today who want to work for Marvel or DC felt like they had to have a specific style in order to work for these companies, and they have to mimic the ones that came before them. So many artists I know that have done that just, lost their unique identity because they just wanted the job, right?
Yeah.
It's like, so that's why they've just one of many artists that, unless you look at the credits, you wouldn't really know who they are, because they just wanted to be an artist. They didn't want anything else, and they didn't find their voice. They did what was expected of them to work for a specific company.
Right.
That's also the tough part, right?
And if it's what you want and you can do it for a bit, I suppose it could be good.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It wasn't. When I started realizing that I was thinking, I've got to be this next person, or I've got to draw. Things started going wrong, in my opinion, for my choices, what decisions I was making, even what I was deciding to draw,
right,
where I was deciding to go, who I was following, like not like around the streets, I mean like online, but
yeah,
not like I'm stalking, but I just like it's good to have interest in what people are doing and see the techniques, but I think the reality is when you realize you're not that person and you're gonna have to be yourself, it gets a lot easier.
Yeah, it's I think that's the biggest thing. I think it like Christopher said, finding your voice. It's important. I think that's
Right.
For me. I found my voice. If you see a Sam drawing, exactly. Sam did that. I have a specific look to what my style that's unique to me. But I've seen a lot of. I think I wanted to be Todd McFarlane. I wanted to be. Jim Lee, Stephen Platt. I wanted to draw like what was his name? Where is he? Where are you? Bill Watterson, Calvin and Hobbes. Like, it's like I try to mimic that style for a long time. Before as well. So, and then I just gave up and I said, you know what, Sam, focus on you, focus on your style. Focus on your voice, and have fun. And that's when it changed for me.
I think that's kind of what I decided to do with the digital painting option for me, because this is still kind of new to me, I suppose.
Right.
If you were to compare how long I've been doing digital stuff compared to how long I've just been picking up a regular pencil and some watercolors, this is definitely new. It's like within the last year.
Right.
So I'm kind of enjoying that. I've picked up something different. It's a challenge. Because I don't know completely what I'm doing, but the way I kind of work with this is I just bring what I know from traditional to this. Maybe somebody could be watching this and going, oh, she's doing that totally the wrong way. There's a much faster way of doing it. And there probably is. But I like doing it this way right now until I find another way. I'm very much just kind of smudgy and scratchy and just do what I would normally do with a pencil. But I'm sure there's people out there that are, way better and know exactly how they would do this, and they'd be done by now. But I'm just enjoying this. I'm enjoying being able to have the option to do digital along with all the traditional stuff.
Right. I think that's the biggest thing. It's like, like I think we said it earlier today when we were talking. It's like I study a lot of artists out there. I'm a big fan of art, but I always wind up conforming to what makes me most comfortable um, with my style. Um, and even though I appreciate some of these artists and what they do, I also know that um, there's some things that I gravitate to, some methods I gravitate to. But I always love to learn what inspires others and how they start a page. I mean, really, it's how people start pages. It's always excites me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's understanding and seeing how that process works.
Well, I've only started one page, so I don't know. I've done the one. My starting process was I basically got triggered with an idea from seeing you doing the panel, and it was around Halloween, and I just decided this is how I saw it. It was like it played out in my mind. The images played out, and then I just thought I should just do a quick sketch of these like thumbnails, and then it went from there. But for me, each little panel seemed like it was its own tiny little piece of artwork, which made it more fun for me.
Yeah, I think that's it's they always say you want to get better, draw every day. I think doing these one piece images of Doodie in different scenes was me working out my approach to panels, because each one of them is basically could be considered a panel in itself. um, uh, I have a hard time drawing in my sketchbook, like traditional sketchbook. I have so many incomplete sketchbooks that I've started and I never finished. Um, but I have a great time. I mean, it's easier for me to draw digitally and sketch digitally. For some reason, with the sketchbooks, I'm not as consistent as I am on a computer, which I find interesting.
Well, I'll tell you why I'm more likely to be doing digital stuff right now is because it's just easier access, it's tidier. I don't have to get water and paints and tables and stuff. I just pick the iPad up and start drawing.
Yeah, I haven't gotten that
I don't
far
have to
yet.
clear up. I just put it away. It's seconds.
Yeah, that's what I want to get to be as proficient on the iPad. I haven't gotten that far yet. I don't know if it's because maybe it's just the size of it, or like I have a really large tablet, graphic tablet,
Right.
and it's the size of a television. It's massive. So for me, it's I just love drawing on a big screen, and I just haven't gotten to the point where I've been drawing on a smaller device.
Yeah, I can imagine it would be difficult to switch to a smaller screen after being used to the massive one. I actually like the size of the iPad screen for me because it's a bit much for me to be looking around anything any larger than this.
Right.
Because things just get weird, like vision issues and stuff. Like I said, with surgeries.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of changes, and the looking around part, just moving your head, can be a little bit weird depending on what's going on with glasses in my eyes. So this is perfect for me because I don't have to move my head so much or my eyes around. Everything's right in front of me.
Yeah. I gotta hide these layers. Yeah, put these in a folder. Let me hide that real quick. Oh, I don't need that one hidden. Yeah, I think, but that's also the fascinating part, right? It's the tools that we use. It's different from artist to artist, right?
Right.
The process, how every artist approaches a page, what influences an artist. That's what's the fascinating part. That's why for me, it's like always like it's just I don't know, it's just knowing how people do it. That's always been my thing. Um, if I had it my way, I'd have a graphic tablet in every room in the house, all connected to one server, so I don't have to go all the way upstairs when I'm like, and if I'm watching the movie, I can sit down on the couch and draw. It's like those are the dreams.
I often have thoughts that, oh, I think I'll just sit in front of the TV with the iPad and I kind of listen to something, maybe watch TV a little bit with Christopher, and then I realize I've got 4 cats and a dog, and there's just no way that's gonna happen because as soon as I get on the sofa, they will all pile on. And there's nothing gonna get done with that apart from there's just gonna be cats getting petted, dogs getting jealous, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I understand that completely. I have my man chair in the living room. It's a reclining chair, and as soon as I sit down, I get pounced. It's like Tigger from Winnie the Pooh. It's like, oh man, like he's there, let's get him, and it's over.
It's not a lot of so much pouncing with the cats here, I have to say. It's more like they kind of sneak and creep.
Mm-hmm.
You sit down, you think you're real comfy, you think you've got a nice spot, and then all of a sudden they just close in and you realize that you're outnumbered.
Yeah.
And if the gig's up, that's it. You're now a cat bed.
Yeah.
But then if you're the one that gets covered in cats, you get to ask the other person to go and get everything for you because you can't move the cats.
No, you
So
can't.
it's like, oh, you know what I would need to do, but I can't because the cats are on me. And then the other person has to help you out.
Yes.
So that'd be a bit of advice for anyone out there who would like, if you're trying to get other people to do stuff for you, get a cat, put it on your knee, and then say, look, can't do anything. I've got a cat on my knee. You're gonna have to do everything.
Yeah. I'm putting the screen on you for a second. I'm just gonna step away for a second.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
So I zoomed in at a Doodie belly there. I'm not gonna put any hair on the chest though, don't worry. Oh, and by the way, while Sam's away, I can't see the chat, so there's no way I'll know if anyone's asking anything. if anyone's wondering, this is just a 6B Procreate pencil option that I'm blending. I maybe do the more tedious route, but this is how I like to do it.
I'm back. Silly cat. What's it? Silly cats.
So I don't know if you see this, Sam, but mostly what I'm doing with this space, I often like to go back to just the 6B Procreate pencil and just blend it all in, because sometimes with the streakiness,
Yeah.
I kind of like the textures, and you can get like painterly strokes.
Nice. Oh, happy New Year! Happy almost New Year to you, Sticky. Welcome to the stream. Yeah, I like the way you shade your art. I like the way it blends seamlessly.
I get like obsessed over the lines. I just go in there, and I probably shouldn't obsess, but I like to blend and just pull them. It's just kind of how I would draw it in with a pencil.
Right.
And as I said, as long as I'm just using the black at different opacities, then all the colors, like how we did this earlier, should still show through there with all the shading.
Right. So how did you connect with Dan Price? How did you guys meet?
Oh, that goes back to Nerd Cave. There was an event called Nerd Cave Showcase.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that might have been back in like 2011, maybe. I'm not sure. And it was at a local comic shop. And I had done a convention, I think it was Wizard World. I met somebody called Jen. She was doing Jen Hart's art. She's really cool. I haven't seen her in a while. I think she moved, but she's really cool. I hope she's still doing art. But she asked me to do Nerd Cave Showcase. She thought my stuff was good. She thought I was all right, I suppose, and she asked me to come and do Nerd Cave Showcase. And that's where I met Dan. He was sat opposite me. And that's when he was, that was back when he was doing Latex Avenger. I met some really good people then. I met Terry and Halo. Terry Parr. And they were really cool. I mean, that was back then too. I haven't seen them in a while. I'd like to. Oh, Halo was doing something recently with a Kickstarter, which was quite interesting. She was doing like a kitchen witch thing.
Yeah.
That was kind of fun. She's doing really cool characters. I think
Right.
they still do the Nerd Cave thing now and again.
Do they?
I think, but it's like kind of small event, local. It'd be nice if it got a bit more attention because there's some really good people that were involved in that.
Yeah, I remember this is fantastic artist that I wanted to meet. I got the opportunity to meet them. We hung out, went to dinner at several different conventions. Every time we met up at a convention, we had dinner, whatever. And I wanted a piece, an original piece from him, and I was willing to pay for it. He's like, no, I'll do it for you. I never got the piece, and I was such a fan of his work, and I remember I said, hey, you know, how much would it cost to get an original piece? He's, no, I'll do it for you. He goes, what do you want? And I told him what I wanted, and never got it. Never got it. Every time I saw him at a convention, oh yeah, I'll get it to you. I said, look, I'll just buy one. He's like, no. But I never got it.
That's weird. You didn't want any money for it, but you still didn't do it.
Yeah, it was very frustrating for me because, you know, it went back to character. I was like, dude, you know, it's like, if you're going to say you're going to do it, you know, at least do it. But, you know, don't give the runaround all the time because, you know, there are people that are actually, cause it left a bad taste in my mouth. And I stopped following him because of that. I was like, to a point where like I just avoided when I saw him at a show. I was like, you know, I'm not even going to talk to the guy at this point because now it looks like I'm a stalker. It's like, you know, it's like now, I was like, you know, now I feel like I'm a weirdo because all I wanted was an original piece, and I was willing to pay for it. At that time, I used to collect original art. I have a whole portfolio of original art for some artists that I admire. But I'm not going to blow them up on the air. But it always bothered me. Zoom out.
So how many years has he been saying, oh, I'm going to get it to you?
I think, let me see. Wizard World. It was about 2.5 years. So it was at Wizard World. It was at New York Comic Con. It was at Big Apple Comic Con. It was at Pittsburgh Comic Con. Every time we ran into each other. And he's a big name artist, working on some, you know, worked for all the companies. But then I was like, that's it. I'm not hanging out with you anymore. I'm not playing this game anymore. I feel like a weirdo. I'm done.
Yeah, there's a certain line it gets to the point where you wonder, what am I actually doing?
Yeah. Like I have every issue that he's illustrated because I was a fan of his work.
Maybe he's just the type of person who wants to make everybody happy and just keep saying, oh yeah, I'll do it. Or maybe he was just BSing. I don't know, but there are people who can't say no, or they just say things that they think they should and they're not going to follow up on it.
Yeah, I mean, I try to make it simple. I opened up his portfolio. I was like, yeah, I'll just buy one of these. And no.
Right.
I was like, I was like, dude, I'm right here. I'm a paying customer. If he didn't offer, it would have been different. Um, but the fact that he said, no, you don't have to. I was like, all right, sure. I was like, oh, he's cool. Yeah, right. um, yeah, but those are stories that you have in the when you're navigating in the comic world, and some that people don't know. But I also got to hang out with a lot of cool industry creators, and they're just like all of us, right? They just have to happen to be very successful in the comic game.
Yeah. I don't think I've really ever tried to even consider getting into comics, honestly, like working for them, because it never really appealed to me, the time it takes to do them.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I think that's one of the things, like Stephen Platt, big in the industry. He did Fighting American, he did Prophet, he did Soul Saga. Very high. I mean, I think he was getting paid like $1,500 or $1,800 a page. I forgot how much he was making. He was making a lot of money, but he couldn't meet deadlines. He was always late with everything. It would take him, because of all the detail that he put into his books.
Right.
It's like, and he's one of those guys that, like, if my name's attached to this, I want to make sure it's my best work. Every page is my, he's a fantastic artist. He did Moon Knight. He's another one that everything that he's illustrated in comics, I picked up. He actually left comics and went into gaming. It's funny because when Rob Liefeld announced that he was re-releasing Prophet, I went into his Facebook and I asked him. I said, "Well, will you be bringing back Stephen Platt to do covers at least?" And it was just like a quick, abrupt no. It wasn't like, no, he's not interested, blah, blah. He was just like a quick no. So I don't know if there's any bad blood there or what, but it didn't sound too cool. Have you ever seen Stephen Platt's work?
I haven't. I'm trying to think if I even heard the name.
Back in the Image days, remember Prophet? There was a comic book called Prophet, and there was also a comic book called Fighting American that he did, and his work is just on a whole nother level.
I need to take a quick break. I'll be back in a couple of minutes.
Sure, I'll put it on my screen. No. So if you're out there watching, today we are doing Samurai Duty, and I'm drawing with my special guest, Pons, a fantastic illustrator. And we decided to do a themed show today where we both showcase our versions of Doodarius Uranus, the star of There's an Alien in My Toilet. If you're wondering who that is, he is the comic book I created, series which is on Indiegogo right now. The last 35 hours of the campaign, it ends tomorrow. So if you haven't gotten yourself a copy, I'd love for you to get a copy of There's an Alien in My Toilet. So that's what we're doing. We're doing a samurai theme, which really ties into the future of Doodie with the samurai books that I'm working on with Doodie. So it's really just practice for that. And this piece currently coloring right now.
I'm back either way.
Oh,
sorry.
Cool. Cool.
had to go and microwave my tea. I just start drawing and it just goes cold.
Oh yeah, it takes me a few hours to drink my coffee. This is my second cup. I'd use 2 espresso pods and and steam the milk. And this is my second cup. Let's put it on you for a second. Yeah, I'm a big coffee drinker. I thank my grandmother for that. She introduced me to coffee as a kid.
When I think back to coffee growing up, we always had that instant coffee, the one you just like spoon it out and drop it in the cup and add water.
Sanka?
I don't know if that's a brand or something, but apparently that's quite normal. And for a while I was thinking it was like, what am I actually dissolving in the water? But it turns out it's actually normal. There's no difference apparently to that than actually putting it through your French press or putting your grounds through something else, this instant coffee. And I was like, it's kind of weird, but I suppose it's a point. But it still hasn't got me back to instant coffee. I still think there's something odd about that. Something dissolving into the water and drinking it.
I prefer like beans or like a French press. There's a significant taste difference. I grew up on instant coffee too. So we had both. We had refined bean coffee, espresso coffee. I grew up with it's a coffee called Pilon and Bustelo, which are espresso coffees, and very strong stuff. But we also had Sanka and Maxwell House in the house as well. So I just me and coffee. It's just I love it.
Well, I still like coffee, so I like to drink it now and again, but problem is I'll make a big pot and I'll drink all of it and then I end up with a bad stomach. So
yeah,
I just make a small amount here and there. I learned my lesson about drinking too much coffee. Mind you, I drink a ton of tea. So it's not like I'm benefiting from just, not that much caffeine. No, I knock that back. It's easier on my stomach than coffee, apparently.
100%. Yeah, I'll know when I shouldn't be drinking coffee because my stomach will tell me.
Yeah.
That's the obvious thing that happens when you drink too much coffee. Or like there are certain mornings where I get up and my stomach doesn't feel right, so I'll have tea instead.
Right.
And usually like a chamomile tea or like something soothing. And then after I have that, about an hour later, then my stomach's ready for the coffee.
Well, I remember probably the last time for me with a really bad coffee experience was actually at Comic Palooza.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the convention coffee, like what they were selling on the floor, was what I was drinking, and I had one, just one regular sized coffee, and I was so ill. Like not long after that, I was stuck in the hotel room. Everybody else was like out having a good time. I was trying to recover up in the hotel room, completely missing out. It was all down to the coffee.
Oh, wow.
And I remember even was Bernie Wrightson was at that show as well. And even he walked past the next morning and he had some coffee. And I said, "Are you really going to drink that coffee?" Because he felt bad off it as well. I said, "Are you really going to go for that again?" And he just looked at me and just kind of had this withering kind of look like, "This is the only way I can get through. I'm going to have to risk it." We couldn't find any decent coffee. Had to walk way too far to get something that wasn't on the convention floor.
That's the reason why I take my coffee with me. So I have espresso tea bags. So they're like tea bags I could just dip in hot water. I take them with me too, because the hotels are inconsistent, and sometimes they have these really watered down coffee, and I'll take my own with me just for that. I'll take coffee and tea because again, it all depends on how my stomach feels. But I'll take chamomile tea and I'll take espresso pod coffee.
That's a good idea to take stuff with you. I think I probably would have been a lot more prepared for that trip if I had a lot going on actually. When I think about this, one of the trips I did down there, I had a friend who was down in Galveston, so the plan was to go and see them when I was doing this convention, and they were unfortunately going through some really horrible medical stuff. And we knew that it was bad. We knew that there wasn't much time left. And I think in most of what I found, like that I was really trying to focus on, was getting down there as fast as possible and getting to see my friend.
Right.
So it's a bit of a blur for that convention because that was one of the last times that I had seen her.
Oh, sorry.
And then I drove down again when she was in the hospital, but it was really weird because I was kind of already booked in for Comic Palooza. I wasn't really feeling it because of what was going on.
Right.
And but she wanted me to have a good time. She wanted to see me. She wanted to hear about the stories that, things that happened.
Yeah.
And got to share those with her, got to give her some of the artworks, and she enjoyed the time that we spent together there. And
sounds
but I
awesome.
was just so focused on that, I didn't feel like I got anything organized for myself. I never thought about packing a tea bag, and I'm British. I think I would have, right? But I was just like, it was not about me. I felt like I've got to have the bare minimum to get through this convention.
Yeah.
And then I've got to go see my friend.
Yeah.
And the weird thing was the convention seemed to take a really long time to complete because I like the whole time I felt like I was supposed to be somewhere else.
Wow. Yeah, Elizabeth says that she can't function the start of her day without a cup of tea.
I can imagine. I hope it's a Tetley tea she's drinking, none of the Lipton stuff. Or
Oh yeah, no, I don't drink Lipton. Lipton hurts my stomach for some reason.
Lipton's just like, actually I almost called it Limpton. I think I'll call it Limpton because it's limp tea. Just call it limp tea from now on. I just think it doesn't have enough flavor in it. Not like a Tetley tea bag, is like it punches you in the face. That one, it's like you know you've had a cup of tea when you've had a Tetley.
Tetley and PG Tips.
Yeah, PG Tips is good. Definitely go for a PG Tips if I didn't have a Tetley. But it's not easy to find the stuff here. Even the tea bags that they sell, they're supposed to be British. They're not. Like, they're not what you get over there, but they call them British tea bags. You can taste the difference. I should start doing a commercial for them. Like, you can taste the difference. Like the Pepsi and Coke challenge or whatever it was. I can do the tea challenge.
Yeah.
So wait, what were yours? I'm just seeing mine on my image on the screen.
Huh? Oh, you want to say?
Yeah.
Hold on a second. Yeah, so right now I'm just working on the highlights. Here's where I am so far.
Oh, I like that. I like that sky color in there.
Thank you.
Oh, you got the grass going.
Yeah, once I put the background in, then I figure out. Then I started working on the highlights for for himself. It's funny because even like work, whenever we go to meetings or functions, conferences for work, first thing I ask for is going to be coffee. Because actually, if there's no coffee, I need to know ahead of time so I can go to Starbucks or something. It's like I have to have my cup of Joe. So what was it like growing up? Was it Britain?
Well, growing up in England,
England, yeah.
cold.
Was it?
Oh, we have good days, but I mean, compared to living in Texas, you would definitely say, well, it's cold over there. But we had good summers. We had definitely experienced, like what we call a heat wave over in England. People might be laughing at that, but we don't have AC units in every single place that we live to cool the place down, so we're not ready for that. But
Yeah, I
we
noticed.
do have
Huh?
the odd really hot summer. Lasts for like 2 weeks.
Your summer's only 2 weeks long?
If you're talking about a heat wave, you get
Oh,
about
wow.
2 weeks of good weather. The rest of it's pleasant.
No.
And if Elizabeth's still in the chat there, she can probably confirm that we get about, if you're in England, you get about a 2-week heat wave if you're lucky. There's definitely a different culture over there. I mean, everyone just talks about the weather. And I'm like, yeah, fair enough, it's different, colder, but it's definitely a different culture. But I find it's the same as like with you moving from, like East Coast
Right.
into like Central Texas. There's a huge difference in culture there as well. It's
Yes.
not just countries, it's state.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's so different. Like I wasn't used to tornadoes, and we didn't have tornadoes in New York. We had hurricanes, but they were rare. Coming here is like, I think it was my first couple of weeks. We had tornado warnings. I'm like, where did I move to?
right.
And then the hailstorms are out of control here. You get these big giant balls of hail. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my, it's horrible. I was not even 2 years in my house, and I already had to get my roof repaired from the hail.
Well, make sure you get your discount on the roof then for having a new roof.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? And it's just a matter of, what is it? I think it was 26 hours away driving, whatever it is. And how drastic the weather can just shift.
Yeah, it can. I mean, I've experienced some crazy weather here. I experienced something that was close to a tornado, but it was just like a straight wind. When I say just a straight wind, it was powerful like a tornado. It took roofs off, it took trees out, hit our apartment, and I remember thinking it just sounded like a train coming at me. And ever since that, if I start hearing the wind pick up, I just start thinking it's going to happen again. It can leave you a little bit shook up.
Yeah. Yes. My dogs weren't used to it. I wasn't used to it. My cats definitely weren't used to it. It's like, I remember the first time I got here, everybody's calling me. It's like, if you have outdoor furniture, bring it in.
Right.
Get all your animals to a safe spot. And I'm like, all my animals? It's like, the whole place is windows. It's like, what the hell's a safe spot? So it was like, it's all those things, and then you start panicking, and it's crazy.
It can be pretty scary though if you've never experienced it. But the one thing I do like, and I can really only speak for Texas because I've already been in many other states where I've actually spent time in them. But the thunderstorms we get here are proper Scooby-Doo like.
Yeah.
Like they really just keep going. Like the lightning keeps going, the thunder keeps crashing.
It's a party
it's
up
like
in the sky.
Scooby-Doo. Yeah, it's
it's
like the intro
to
Scooby-Doo with the constant lightning and just They can be pretty epic. But we've been out watching some of those and been close to like power lines being hit, and that definitely moves you back into the house. This is like, okay, fun's over. It looks like we might actually die out here.
Yeah, it's yeah. What I learned to do is after I survived the first couple, I start watching the news to see where it's going, because not knowing where it is, and we've been lucky that the 7 tornadoes that I've experienced so far since I've been here in Texas,
Just 7.
the last minute decided to shift and go another direction as it was heading towards our, the sirens go off in your neighborhood, and it's just crazy. And then last minute, it just changed trajectory, and it's like, oh, we just dodged that bullet. It's crazy.
Yeah, we watch like the weather down here, but for a different reason. We tend to watch the water levels down here because we're in an area that tends to flood a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So there's certain times a year where we watch a particular body of water around here, and if it gets to a certain height, then we've got to start packing.
Oof.
Just in case.
Right.
Because this area's been hit twice with flooding, and it was left pretty devastated. There was a lot of animals around here. It was kind of sad. It was the animals that concerned me a lot.
Yeah.
Like farming and things like that.
Yeah.
Kind of combination of domestic and farm animals, just people having their stuff, the little ranches and things.
Yeah.
But it's pretty cool. I don't live far from a horse ranch. It's just down the road.
Oh, that's nice.
They had some longhorns out there the other day. They moved them into that area for a little bit, let them hang out, and
that's awesome.
And then they get moved on to another field or somewhere else. But there's some interesting things around here. Not quite in the city, so there's a lot of interesting things can happen. It'll probably be crazy with it being New Year. We have a lot of fireworks around here.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, a lot of guns going off too.
Oh.
So I'm sure there'll be...
Texas loves their guns.
Well, yeah, I mean, as much noise as it can make. So gotta get the guns going, and I'm kind of used to it though now. I think I used to be a little bit more of a nervous wreck when I first started hearing gunshots constantly. Moving to Texas.
Yeah. See, I'm not I grew up in Jamaica, Queens, in a neighborhood that was known for gun violence. So it was like thunder every night, or firework. But I wasn't used to hearing it here in Texas, and I was here for a year before I heard the first gunshot. So I was like, "Oh, what's that?" So Elizabeth says, "England is cold, Scotland is freezing."
I was thinking she's probably in a really cold area. So it is freezing in Edinburgh. I've seen the temperatures over there, and I've been to Edinburgh a couple of times myself. And it doesn't matter when I've gone. I've never had a day where I could say that it's like nice and warm. It's always cold. I think it's just like a constant wind up there or something.
Mm-hmm.
But you want to get away from the brisky weather in Edinburgh, come and land in Texas. It's complete opposite.
Oh yeah.
Complete opposite.
Yeah, Texas is special. All right, let's put this on here.
So did you pick Texas like out of a hat or something to move to? What brought you?
No, my wife's family's. She has her family in Texas and in Colorado, and brothers and sisters out here, and mom, dad in Colorado, and the goal was always to move back. I wanted Colorado, but she didn't want to go back to Colorado because she didn't want the winters anymore. And I grew up in New York, but she spent half our marriage with me in New York, so it was only fair that I go and relocate. So that's why we came out here.
Oh, so it was like compromising.
Yes.
That works.
Yeah. That's the key. That's the secret. Compromised. But I mean, I was coming out here with her for years, so I didn't realize I was going to love it as much as I did outside of the weather. But it's so convenient with everything. And after the lockdown that happened in New York, and with the COVID and everything, it was just about time that we capitalized on the opportunity and said, let's just go.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people made some massive changes to their lives, especially when COVID hit.
Yeah.
I mean, everything changed so drastically then.
Yeah.
I don't remember feeling like it was so drastic for me when people started working from home, because at the time I was in a job where I was working from home anyway.
Right.
And I just thought, oh, welcome to the club, guys. So
no, I took a year off, a year and a half, 18 months off, to get settled in. Because when we bought this house, it didn't have a sprinkler system. It had dead lawn, so we had to put in new soil, and then add a sprinkler system, add a patio in the yard because there was none. The main floor had just this open concept, so we built an office for my wife. So we put up a wall between the dining room and the front, so that she had an office. So as I was doing with all that, she was still in New York, and I was dealing with all that. Yeah, and then it was time for me to go back to work, and I went back to work.
So you enjoy what you do now for work?
I do and I don't. I do because it affords me the opportunity to, maintain my lifestyle. But I think the hard part is the people part. Today's world, it's so complex. I feel like most of the time I'm a therapist than anything, and anything, everybody's easily offended by something that somebody said, that you have to go in and you have to now go and troubleshoot and try to solve, and that stuff takes a toll.
Yeah, I've known some people who have gotten into jobs, gotten so far in them, and then the role has them a little bit more frustrated than they expected.
Yeah.
Or they feel like they have to make changes to themselves in a way that doesn't feel comfortable or something.
Yes.
It's hard growing within a company, especially if you're not sure what direction you're going or.
Yeah. I think that's the biggest part, right? Is like people conforming because of the way society's trending, right? And it's like,
Right.
that's always been the complex part issue with all of it. So I think that's the stuff that is more frustrating than anything. It's dealing with all of the emotional issues that comes with being in management, that you always have to put out fires and also, mediate discussions because people were easily offended or whatever it is, and that takes up most of my time. And so it's draining because then, and also the drive is about an hour drive to work. So, but that long drive back home, I'm already exhausted mentally, and then I have to get the strength to draw. So that's the other part of it.
Yeah, that's a lot good to have going on.
Yeah. But it helps pay the bills, puts a roof over my head. It's just they're good things about it too. But I think it's just the people part that's challenging. It's worse now than it ever was in the previous years. I think when you're dealing with all of this. What am I doing? Is it? No, it's this one. Overlay. The best part of it, I made a lot of good, met a lot of good people out here. Made some friends.
It's one thing if it's good if you can make friends while you're working.
Yeah.
Definitely helps.
Yes, because you have people to talk to when you're dealing with difficult situations.
Yeah, you need to have somebody there that you can just get a quick complaint off your chest.
Yeah, it's like, can you believe this? It's like,
right.
Like, dude, this is crazy.
Okay. Well,
There it is. Looks good.
Yeah, I'm looking at this thinking I'm gonna have to come back to this because I've got a lot more to do. I mean, that gives you the idea of how the colors go in from behind, got the shading in. But it's just for like the time and the setting and the eye strain.
Yeah.
It's
I know.
I don't want to mess it up.
Yeah, and I'm getting hungry.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? We've got to eat.
Yeah. But this is fantastic. I think this is awesome. I love the way it's coming out. I love the trees too. Reminds me of a bonsai tree.
Yeah, that was kind of where I wanted to go with it. I mean, obviously we know Doodie's bigger than a bonsai tree, but not by much. But
yeah,
I thought I'd make this kind of one of those, kind of that twisty thing where it looks like someone's been training the tree for years and years, or maybe it just did that. But that's kind of where I've been at with this one. But I'll keep working on it. And,
awesome.
I don't know. I mean, if you have another live or anything, I'd be happy to pop in again.
Yeah, we could do it. Yeah, we can set something up. I'll DM you. We'll coordinate because I go back to work tomorrow, but we'll coordinate sometime this week and we'll get that going. But yeah, awesome. Thank you
Right,
so
you
much
got
for
to
joining.
coordinate it around what's going to have to be coffee, exercise, and work.
Yep, coffee, exercise at work.
Yeah,
But
put
yeah,
it somewhere around all of that, and you should be good.
awesome sauce. But thank you again for joining. Again, this is Lou Pons. Check her out. I'll put the link to her social media in the chat and in the summary of this live stream. And again, catch us next time. Thank you again, Lou, for joining.
No, you're welcome. It's been fun.
Yes, and I'm done. And it's perfect timing because I'm done with this piece too. So, all right, guys, you guys have a fantastic day. I'm going to leave you with the promo to the. If you haven't picked up a copy of There's an Alien in My Toilet, it's on Indiegogo right now, and you can still pick up a copy. Tomorrow's the last day. So here's a promo, artwork done by Lou Pons. Check it out.
Once a year, on Hallows Eve, the world comes together to escape and become something more than themselves. Until a little green alien from another planet proved that being yourself can be delicious. There's an Alien in My Toilet available for pre-order right now on Indiegogo. Get yours today.
Hey, don't forget to subscribe. And while you're at it, hit that like button. Share it with a friend. And pick up a copy of There's an Alien in My Toilet on doodiesworld.com. See you next time. Have a great day.